everybody, and welcome to the next episode of the Single Reviews. Oh look, you guys might have noticed, but my intro is slightly different. That's because we are going to tackle some episodes from the CGI era. Admittingly, it's actually been a hot minute since I've watched anything of CGI Thomas properly. The interest for it really has started dwindling away, but that's not to say I dislike it. I just haven't had that urge to do anything with it. But I thought for a change we'd just take a step back from the hit era and talk about some of this era's episodes. So now that bears this question. How many CGI episodes didn't make it to US home media? A huge total of 95 episodes never made it here in the US. That is and isn't really shocking. Shocking, yes, because that's about quadruple compared to the number of episodes not released by Hit, but also not shocking since most of the numbers come from anything Blubba not being released, and we all know how much we got screwed with that series. Yeah, thanks a lot, Mattel. So just the same as before, I'm going to talk about the good and the bad episodes between seasons 19, 20, and 21. I will be covering the Blubba episodes, but I'll talk about the details for that in another video. Anyway, I ran another poll to see what CGI episode everyone would be interested to see. And based off of the votes, the fans have chosen Bradford the Brakeman. In this episode, Samson returns to Sodor, but this time has a brake van coupled up to his train. The van, whose name is Bradford, offers to help Thomas when he sees his cars are being cheeky. Word quickly spreads around that Bradford is a very useful brake van until each engine he starts working with is criticized with rules and regulations. So Thomas decides it's a good idea to go without a brake van, and wouldn't you know it, ends up causing an accident and is then told off by Topham, who reminds him that following the rules is more important than being on time. In the beginning, I'll admit, I wasn't exactly the biggest fan of this episode. I did think there were some bits that were funny, but the episode itself just wasn't clicking with me. But after rewatching it after so long, man was I wrong. I forgot just how funny this episode actually is. Now for a story, it's pretty simple. Nothing really too drastically over the top. Just a simple reminder that while it's important to be on time, it's also important to follow the rules so it keeps you and everyone else safe. The story itself has its way of telling this moral without shoving it down your throat through its comedic humor. I find it hysterical that even the tiniest little thing is enough to set Bradford off, like freaking over a tiny rock or a small crack in a lamp. He does bring up a fair point though. Even the most minuscule of things could potentially become a bigger problem down the line. No pun intended. And speaking of, let's talk about our new character. Bradford is a funny piece of work. He has that sort of military-esque kind of vibe to him. It's a little funny seeing him get so uptight by every teeny tiny little thing. Now, I've seen quite a lot of people claim that Bradford gives off the same vibe as the Tugs character, Blue Nose. Weirdly enough, I see it, and it is scary similar.
Right, you horrible lot! I'm in charge now, so no bumping and none of you a cheek!
But we like bumping!
Not on my watch, matey. This is now a bump-free zone.
Attention! Attention! Back it is!
Attention, nothing. I'm finished here, old darling. Moving out.
And you don't not allowed to check things out.
Check all you like, sweetheart. I'm needed elsewhere.
You're under Navy jurisdiction. Obey orders and wait till they've made my inspection.
Now here is the big difference between both characters. Bradford is not doing this to be annoying. He does genuinely show concern and wants everybody to follow the rules. The engines might find it irritating, but these are the kind of thoughts that should be taken to heart, so that later on, you don't end up with a problem. I mean, the wreck situation is a little silly, but I get it, at least. The crack in the lamp, well, you definitely wouldn't want that to become a bigger problem, especially at night. And the garbage cars, yeah, that one's a little weird to me. When you look at Blue Nose, on the other hand, what he does is done in a way that makes him come off as a dick, which is why everyone gets frustrated when they're being bossed around. Blue Nose likes to make it where he has more authority over everyone, and this is how problems start. And speaking of problems, we have to discuss the problem that Thomas created for himself. I do understand where he and the other engines are coming from after they were ridiculously ridiculed by Bradford, but that in no way gives anyone the excuse to act out carelessly. And in typical Thomas fashion comes a crash because of said dumb decision to not use Bradford. I can't ignore the fact that while I do like Thomas in the CGI era, he does come off as kind of a moron at times. The most common sense to a lot of things he should have already known by this point is laughable. Like, how do you just go off without a brake van? Or even, how do you fill your cars to the very tippy top? At this point, you're just asking for trouble. And for Topham to remind him that following the rules is more important than being on time, like, come on, Thomas, for real? One last thing I will bring up is how I kind of like how this ending sort of plays out. I just love how Bradford assumes that everyone will miss him, and everyone's just like, yeah, okay. I sort of wish they did a little more with Bradford in the later episodes. I feel like we could have had so much more funny moments with him, and maybe with some other characters. But at least he's back with his good old buddy Samson, and maybe we'll see them in another episode in the future. To conclude, Bradford the Brakeman is a hilariously memorable episode. It gave us an interesting new character with a lot of funny moments on the side. Not entirely perfect, but I would say this is one of Season 20's best episodes. I rank it a 9 out of 10. I've been Yamite, and I hope you all enjoyed this review. Thank you all for watching, and feel free to like, comment, and subscribe for more of these and other Thomas-related content. And be sure to check out some of my other reviews in the episode reviews playlist. Link is in the description. Until then, I will see you all in the next video.